Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Malika, I'm so happy you're here. This channel is all about travel, experience in the world, and tips for living abroad as an expat. This is actually my second time being an international expat. So the first time I moved abroad, I moved to Italy by myself and worked in fashion for a couple of years in Milan. Fast forward several years later, my husband and I just moved to Beirut, Lebanon for a work opportunity that came up for him, and we are so happy to be here. It's kind of a crazy time to be living in Lebanon, what with the political and economic crisis, but I feel like I'm learning so much and growing so much just by being here, and I can't wait to share more about our experience here on this channel. So in today's video, we'll be discussing France's controversial new health pass law, or the Pass Sanitaire law that recently went into effect. I just spent 10 days traveling in France for a destination wedding pretty soon after the law went into effect, so I got a first-hand look at how it's being enforced, the various ways to get one as a foreigner, and of course the massive local protests against the law because people are really mad about having to deal with this Pass Sanitaire. So I also have a lot of stories from my wedding guests on their experiences with the Pass Sanitaire, so I'll be sharing my personal experience and some tidbits I got from them. So make sure you keep watching for everything you need to know about traveling in France in the era of the health pass. Some of these tips will also apply if you're planning a trip to other EU countries, since many of them are following France's lead and introducing their own versions of a digital health passport. So even if you aren't planning to go to France per se, you might still need this for another trip somewhere else because the precedent is being set, these will be rolled out a lot of places, and quite frankly, I think that they should be. So if you aren't familiar with the French health pass or the Pass Sanitaire, the law was passed in early to mid-August, I think, which is basically requiring a digital QR code proving that you're either vaccinated or have a negative COVID test taken within the past 72 hours. It's required to enter bars, restaurants, tourist sites, museums, and also travel by air and by long-distance train. So basically to exist in society, you have to prove that you don't have COVID, which why are people mad about that? I don't know. But there's a lot of controversy about it, the precedent that it's setting. People are big mad. There's a lot of anti-health pass protests, and they were definitely intense when I was in Paris, especially because come September, the rapid COVID test will no longer be free for citizens. So now it's going to start to cost you if you are not vaccinated. And of course, everyone has the choice to not get vaccinated. That is your choice. It is your body and your health. But that choice is going to start to cost you, and I'm really not mad about that. Not to digress too much, but I'm just really getting sick and tired of the ridiculousness with the anti-vaccine movement, which is why the pandemic is still alive and well and dancing her way into 2022 and mutating down the alphabet, and I'm just really sick and tired of it. So we just need to get over it, and the way to get over it is vaccination, whatever your opinion about that is. So how do you get a French health pass? If you weren't vaccinated in France, you will need to get your CDC card converted or your local vaccine card converted, which shortly after the law was introduced, you had to apply for the conversion via email. I did that as soon as it was announced, and then I absolutely never heard back. So this was the first or second week in August, never heard back. Two of my guests did get their French passes emailed back to them within 24 hours, so the system did work for some people, but most people got absolutely nothing. And then at the end of August, around the 27th or 28th, the email system was replaced by an online application. So instead of just emailing this address, you had to create an account, upload your documents, and then you can track the progress of your application. They said the average processing time was 3 to 5 days, but most people coming for a wedding never heard back, and it'd been a week or 2 weeks. So I tried maybe 6 days before the wedding departure, and I thought, it's within the window that they said, but I never heard back, so whatever. I ended up landing in Paris with no Pass Sanitaire, so the first thing I had to do was get a rapid COVID test because they asked this for literally every restaurant, you needed to eat. So you can get a rapid antigen test at every pharmacy, and there's also pop-up testing centers on every other block. So don't worry too much in advance about making appointments or trying to find one. They were literally everywhere. I would say if you're going to more suburban area, maybe do some more research, but in Paris, you could stumble every block and find them. And the test cost between 25 to 29 euros, and results came in 10 to 15 minutes. So relatively easy process. It's not a big deal to do this if you're coming into France just for a short 3-day weekend, but if you're traveling for a while like I was, or are in a big group, the frequent tests can get really annoying and really expensive. So I really wanted to get my CDC card converted. All the travel blogs said you could get your CDC card converted in a pharmacy, so I had 3 days to find before my COVID test expired, which was literally looking for a needle in a haystack. We went to at least 5 pharmacies trekking around Paris. All of them were commonly known to have converted other people's CDC cards and had even done them for some of our wedding guests. So we knew that they could, but most of them had said they were no longer allowed to do that. I think they had like just gotten some email or letter and basically said, you guys are blocked, you have to apply online. So unfortunate timing, but whatever. We finally found one after a lot of research that was able to convert our QR code, that was able to convert our CDC card into the QR code. So I'll tell you exactly where that was and what you have to do. So keep watching because I'm going to say that at the end of the video. So how serious are these health passes and are they actually enforced? To be honest, it was kind of all over the place. Like, I was traveling with my parents, so I wanted to make sure everyone had their French QR code ready, like on the app, on their phone as a screenshot, and then also paper printout in case they didn't have service or their phone died. Because I just don't know mess around. Like when you're dealing with a big group and they're also older people, like over 60, you just have to be more careful. So a few of my friends didn't even bother getting the French QR codes. They just showed their American vaccine card everywhere, and it actually worked. One of my friends said the main trick with that was to explain it as you present your card, because the person you're showing it to may not have seen a CDC card before, so you have to tell them what it is that they're looking at. So she would basically kind of show her card and say, it's my American vaccine card, I did Johnson & Johnson, this is the date, and point to the name and point to the date, and then they can like, oh, okay, understand, yeah, the date's, you know, in the clear, so you're good to go. I never did that because I was spending most of my time with the 4 elders, and you can't play games when you're dealing with 4 older people, especially those who like don't travel a lot and it's their first time in Europe. Like that's just doing too much. Family travel just has to be organized. Like if you're traveling with parents or with kids, big group, like it's just too stressful. So I just wanted to be organized. And I also didn't want to risk them getting denied entry to something and then have to scramble for a plan B with a big group of people. Like it would just be too stressful. But we were asked everywhere we went, and it was very much enforced. So actually, even on the TGV train going from Paris to Bordeaux, we had like real armed cops, like border control police officers, the bulletproof vests, get on the train and check people's health passes. Like it was so crazy, like armed and vests and everything. But just to show how inconsistent enforcement is of this law, all of my wedding guests, like probably 90% took that train, different days, different times, but same destinations. No one else saw the cops. I was just the only lucky one. And some even said they never even got asked for the health pass on the train, so who really knows? But if you're a traveler that likes to prepare and over-prepare, just make sure your health pass is in order so you won't have to be stressed or worried about it. And if you're someone who likes to leave things more to chance, feel free to wing it and see what happens. If I were traveling by myself, I would have been more likely to wing it and see what happens, but I had the parents, so. And now I'm going to show you exactly where I got my CDC card converted. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the pharmacy, I'm sorry. I'm still a French beginner. I'm actually going back to French class next week, so maybe you'll see me dropping some French in a few weeks in my next video about Paris, but not right now. So this is where I got it done, and this is what the process looks like. So one of the last errands I'm going to do before I get on the train to head south with our parents is get ready to try to get my last ditch effort to get the French health pass. I've taken an antigen test already. I don't want to have to take antigen tests every 3 days, especially for the expense. So we've been looking at pharmacies that say that they convert your QR code into the actual local QR code. So we're going to see what happens. I have my CDC card, you have your passport. We went to 2 different pharmacies. They both said no, they're not allowed to do it anymore. This is the last ditch effort, which said that, you know, they might. And there's kind of a long line of people like with suitcases like straight from the airport. So it seems like this might be the spot. Fingers crossed, let's see if they'll do it for us because I'm just so over all these COVID tests. Was a success. The pharmacy converted my CDC card for me, and now I have an official European recognized vaccination certificate and QR code that I can use pretty much anytime I go into Europe, any country that will require it, and also France. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video helped. If you have more questions, leave them below in the comments. If you're planning a trip to France, stay tuned for more travel tips about France. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share. This channel is brand new and any level really supported and helped me out. So thank you so much in advance, guys. And I'll catch you in the next video.